Friends, if you find yourself unable to focus, constantly feeling anxious and your heart racing due to excessive thinking, and negative thoughts frequently cloud your mind, then today, through the story of a Buddhist monk, we will help you find a solution to this problem. Watch this story in its entirety, so that after listening to it, you too can find relief from your troubles. So let's begin today's story. Once, in a part of China, there was a large monastery where about 500 monks lived. They were all practicing self-awareness under the guidance of their master. One day, a young man came to the monastery to become a disciple. He said to the master, "Master, I want to know myself. I'm in search of the truth. I want to find out what the truth is." The master looked at him and said, "If you want to know the truth, you will have to stake your entire life on it. It might take your whole life to discover the truth, and even then there's no guarantee that you will find it in this lifetime. Are you prepared for that?" The disciple replied, "Master, I did not come here to turn back. I am ready for it." The guru said, "If that's the case, then I have a task for you. In this monastery, there are 500 monks. You will grind rice for them. Just do this task from morning until night, and when you are tired, go to sleep. Wake up the next morning and start grinding rice again. Don't do anything else. Don't think about anything else. Just keep following this path, and don't come back to me. I will come to you when needed." The young man followed the guru's orders and started grinding rice. The monastery required a lot of rice to be prepared daily for the 500 disciples. So he would wake up very early and grind rice until late at night. When he was tired, he would sleep in the same room where he was grinding rice. He didn't talk to anyone, and no one approached him either. For the first few months, old thoughts kept coming to his mind, but without any new subject to dwell on, they gradually faded away. Over time, his thoughts began to decrease. After a few years, he even forgot his name. He remained silent and thoughtlessly continued grinding rice. He never meditated or read scriptures, and the other disciples thought he was a fool. 12 years passed this way. One day the master announced, "My time is near, and I must choose a successor who will lead the monastery after me. Therefore, any disciple who feels that they have attained self-realization and knows themselves completely should come to my door at night and write a few lines on this wall that sum up their entire experience of life." Many disciples thought about doing this, but one of the senior disciples, who was very knowledgeable about Buddhist scriptures, went and wrote some lines. Everyone believed he would be the next successor. He wrote, "The mind is like a mirror which gathers dust from thoughts and desires. Meditation is the process of removing this dust, and when the dust is gone, the mirror of the mind is clear, leading to liberation." The next morning, when the master saw these lines, he said, "Which fool has written this nonsense on my wall?" The disciple who wrote it remained silent. Though the lines were full of knowledge, they were all bookish. The disciple was clever enough not to sign his name because he wasn't sure if it was correct. The master completely rejected the lines, leaving everyone in the monastery surprised. This event became a topic of discussion among the disciples. As two disciples were discussing it, they passed by the one who had been grinding rice for 12 years. Upon hearing their conversation, the rice grinder chuckled. The two disciples asked him why he was laughing. To them, he was just a simple, insignificant monk who knew nothing but rice grinding. The monastery had many learned scholars, but the rice grinder didn't interact with anyone, puzzled to see him smile. They asked again, "Why are you laughing?" He replied, "I laughed because the master is right. These lines are garbage. They hold no value." The disciples were shocked and asked, "Can you write something better than this?" The rice grinder replied, "No, because I am illiterate. But yes, I can say a few lines. And if you can write them down for me, I'm willing to go with you." The disciples agreed and took him to the master's room. The rice grinder spoke a few lines, which the other disciple wrote on the wall, signing them as the rice grinder. They expected the master to be angry again, but the lines he dictated were remarkable. "The mind is just an illusion. Neither is there a mind, nor is there any mirror of the mind. And when there is no mind, where will the dust settle? The one who understands this knows the truth. When the master saw these lines, he got up in the middle of the night and went to the rice grinder. The rice grinder was sleeping, and the master woke him up, saying, "Here, take my staff and my robe. From today, you are my successor. But leave this monastery and go far away, because many scholars here consider themselves superior to you, and they will kill you. They cannot bear the fact that a simple rice grinder is more enlightened than they are. You have attained the same knowledge that I have, and I know that wherever you go, people will flock to you, because when a flower blooms, its fragrance spreads everywhere." He touched his master's feet and left the monastery that very night. If we reflect on our own lives, we'll realize that many people believe that meditation can only be done by sitting in one place with closed eyes. But in reality, that's not the case. Meditation can be done while walking or even while doing some work. In essence, meditation means being completely immersed in whatever you are doing, just like the rice grinder, who was so absorbed in grinding rice that he lost awareness of everything else, even himself. Through this, he achieved self-realization. Living in the present moment and not overthinking is key. The mind exists as long as thoughts exist. When thoughts cease, the mind disappears. And when the mind disappears, you truly begin to know yourself. To truly know your real self, you don't need any other practice. Just get completely absorbed in whatever you are doing, so that your work itself becomes meditation. Friends, I hope these stories help you change your thinking and find solutions to your overthinking problem. If you learned something valuable from this video, please share it with your friends, give it a like, and subscribe to our channel.